Australian men. A great catch, ladies. We praise the Filipino lady regularly and vigorously here on Filipino Wives. And why wouldn't we? The most wonderfully kind, caring, sweet ladies in the world. And most are also hard-working, practical and responsible. An Aussie man who meets and falls in love with a decent Filipino lady is a lucky man indeed. But then again, she's a lucky woman too. Now, most Australian men, despite being a bit rough around the edges, I guess, are gentlemen. Hard-working, faithful and fairly domesticated. Most would rather be at home with their wife and kids than anywhere else. Most have little time for womanizers. The pay packet comes home. Life is usually pretty good for a Filipino wife with an Australian husband. Now take note that, of course, I'm generalising here, and also take note that this is not a matchmaking introduction. This is not a matchmaking site. I have no spare husbands here for only Filipino ladies, and my wife would be very annoyed at me if I gave myself away. And yes, Australia has some far from perfect men too, so please always use your best judgment. But the main purpose of this article is to explain a few points about what is unique about Australian men, and many of which you will see that they differ from Filipino men. And I do this in the interest of helping those existing Australian Filipino couples to understand each other better and hopefully not to hurt each other. And I hope this helps. Australian men. Australian men are rugged individualists. This will differ between men, of course, but mostly you'll find Australian men are fairly ruggedly independent and proud of it. We're used to taking care of ourselves and definitely not okay about receiving handouts or charity. Most of us would rather go without than to be indebted to somebody. It also means that while your Australian husband he will understand where there is a genuine need to help relatives due to poverty, he will not understand begging relatives, nor will he understand those lazy tumbai relatives who expect to live off charity. Okay, right, despite being tough in many ways, he probably has a soft heart. Don't mistake being rugged and masculine with being heartless. Most of us are like big teddy bears and will respond well to gentleness and kindness, and you will bring this out in him if you stay gentle and sweet. Now, Australian men, we value our ability to provide and to produce. We value ourselves according to what we produce. We take pride in our ability to provide for our families, having our kids giving us support and or handouts. Even when we're older, forget it. We would rather go hungry. We help our kids, they don't help us. Now what this means is that even if your man gets older and retires, never make him feel useless. He will already be fairly sensitive about this. Now if you go and get a job and expect him to hang out your panties on the washing line while you're out, you may well crush his spirit. Encourage him to do something, whether it's making things, repairing things, or even mentoring and advising younger people something. Just keep him useful. He's a man, he needs to be productive. Okay? Now, and if you really want him to be your knight in shining armour, believe in him. Now, my wife is strong and capable, and she knows her own mind, but she also knows me and my capabilities, and she believes in me. She doesn't nag me. She doesn't put me down. She does not emasculate or belittle me. I've got something here from my wife. I'll have a go at saying this. Huwag tangalin ang kanilang pagkalalaki. How was that? Okay. Treat him as your hero, and he will become your hero. You can make him or you can break him. Oh, wow. Can't believe I just said that. Okay, Australian men want to be included, not different and not elite. Now, the best thing you can do for an Aussie man, treat him as an equal. Treat him as part of your extended family. Never treat him as a foreigner, and never let your relatives do it either. Tell your friends and relatives to relax around him and not call him, Sir David or whatever his name is. Hospitality is fine as long as he doesn't feel excluded. Now, he will make you his number one and expects the same in return. Never put your Filipino relatives and family ahead of him. You will damage your marriage, possibly beyond repair, if you do this. Don't let older Filipino relatives override decisions that you made or should make as husband and wife, and build the wealth of your new family first and foremost. Now, you'll find he will act with 100% honesty, and he will expect the same from you in return. Now, lies from a spouse are close to unforgivable. So are secrets, especially involving your relatives. Being shy is never an excuse for not telling the truth. This applies to spying and sneaking too. Now, he can't read minds. Australian men are very honest and will say exactly what they think, and they will expect you to do the same. What that means is we're very bad at reading between the lines and trying to guess what you really mean. Get into the habit of discussing everything directly and clearly without any codes. Otherwise you will end up unhappy and he will end up very confused. Now, he cannot stand tampos and will never make malambing. Tampo is cruel and it's childish. Nothing good ever comes from it. If you are using it as a childish blackmail to get your own way, then we suggest that you grow up quickly. If it's because you allow a problem to remain in your head and you can't take it anymore, see the point above, discuss it, and discuss it long before you lose control of your behaviour. Learn to work together. And don't expect him to make malambing. Now, that's Tagalog for being very, very sweet when you're sorry about something. Learn to speak your mind, learn to discuss and share feelings. I hope that helps, and I do welcome comments. Thank you.